Netflix reported earnings last week beating analyst expectations on revenue growth, but still the stock dropped more than 6% after hours and the next day. So today I'm going to analyze their earnings report, explain why the stock dropped, and also give you guys my opinion on Netflix current valuation by giving you guys my forecast of the company and Netflix stocks by 2025. Please smash that like button and subscribe since it really helps my channel out. Also remember to claim your 2 free stocks with Webull by just opening an account with them and depositing $100, which you are able to withdraw later on when you receive your 2 free stocks. So it's basically free money. The link for that is the first one in the description below. So Netflix is currently trading at a price of $480 per share with a market cap of $212 billion and a PE ratio of 77.50. Netflix reported a revenue of $6.4 billion, which is a growth of 22% year over year, beating analyst expectations. Then they reported a net income of $790 million, which are earnings per share of $1.74 per share, while analysts were expecting earnings of $2.14 per share. They are forecasting a revenue of $6.5 billion for the next quarter and a lower earnings per share of $1.35. Now, even though they reported an excellent revenue growth, they reported less than expected global paid net subscribers by analysts. They reported 2.20 million new subscribers, while analysts were expecting 3.57 million. Even though that is such a slowdown in growth, we have to take into consideration what they mentioned in the earnings report. They explained that they think the slowdown occurred mainly because of the huge growth they had at the first half of the year. They added 15.77 paid subscribers for quarter one and 10.09 million paid subscribers for quarter two. So as of right now, they have added a total of 28.1 million paid memberships for the first 9 months, which exceeds the 27.8 million they added for the whole 2019. We have to take into consideration that the pandemic obviously helped them with the growth in paid subscribers when the lockdown started. Everyone was at home, shopping online, working online, watching online classes, and obviously Netflix benefited as well. As you can see in this chart that they posted, they have always had a very steady growth over years, and you can see that huge acceleration at the beginning of this year, and then it started to cool down and go steady again. Still, their forecast for next quarter is still pretty good, and overall the growth for the year is way better than the last year's growth. Also, we have to take into consideration that Netflix is expecting that their paid subscribers addition will be down year over year for the first half of 2021. I would assume it is because it is very difficult for them to surpass this year's growth levels with a normal environment and no pandemic. No pandemic, no acceleration in growth, no nothing. They also announced that they had already restarted production on some of their bigger shows, such as Stranger Things and The Witcher and Red Notice, since this year was impossible to start production of new shows. The good thing about this is that even though everything got delayed, they got a bunch of new users and Netflix was able to save a lot of money since they were not able to create a lot of new shows or movies due to lockdown, and that helped them to build up their cash position. As you can see, their cash and cash equivalents grew 67% to $8.4 billion in just 9 months. This obviously helped them have a way better and healthier balance sheet than before, since they used to have a current ratio of 0.90 and now they have a current ratio of 1.2, meaning that before they had way more short-term liabilities than short-term assets than what they have right now. And obviously that is excellent for the company because that means that they will not need to raise capital to pay off debt if needed, since now they have enough cash. The most important thing of all this is that they are not longer burning cash. Netflix has been burning billions of dollars each year to fund its plethora of original and licensed shows and movies, but eventually they will be able to fund its own programming without lending. And this is the best part. This will propel the company into a reliable moneymaker with plenty of growth right away ahead of it. And talking about growth, wanted to share with you guys my experience expectations for Netflix revenue growth in the coming years. So as you know, they have already reported 3 quarters and also posted their expectation for the next quarter. They are expecting to have a revenue of $6.57 billion for the next quarter. They also forecasted their net income to be $615 million for the quarter. So if that happens and they post that revenue, they would have a total revenue of $24.9 billion for the whole year, which would be a growth of 24% year over year and would leave them with a net income of $2.8 billion, which would be a growth of 52% year over year, which is impressive since it means that their expenses were way lower this year. Obviously, as I said before, this year they did not spend money on production of new shows or movies and were able to save a ton of money. So Netflix will end the year with a total paid membership of approximately 211 million subscribers according to their expectations. Analysts are expecting them to have 258 million subscribers by 2025, but I think Netflix is able to get to 300 million subscribers by 2025 since they will expand, and I think they will be able to enter to the China market, which I don't know why they're not in it yet. At the moment, Netflix earns $124 per paid subscribers on a yearly basis, which has been increasing since they have been raising approximately 10 to 18% their prices within the last 5 years. Because of that, I expect that by 2025, Netflix could earn $188.59 per paid subscriber if they continue raising their prices, which would be like $15 per month. With all that said, I'm expecting them to have a revenue of around $55.1 billion by 2025, which after expenses, they would end up with a net income of $7.3 billion, which would be an earnings per share of around $16. Now, to calculate their expected stock price by 2025, I diluted their shares by 0.4% on a yearly basis since they have been diluting it between 0.5 to 0.9% yearly. Also, Netflix PE ratio history has shown to have an average of around 70, as you can see here. So if they have an earnings per share of $16 and a PE ratio of around 70, then we would easily see Netflix stock at $1,115 per share, which would be a return of 132% in 5 years. And yes, I know the stock has gone up more than 357% in the last 5 years, but I do expect a more steady growth since now they are not the only ones in the industry and have way more competition. We do have to take into consideration that Netflix has more competition than ever before. Apple has their own streaming service called Apple TV Plus, which even though it is brand new and does not have a lot of content in comparison to Netflix, it is coming strong with very good shows and movies. I have read a lot of reviews and friends have told me that they like the content that Apple is creating, so I do expect Apple to continue expanding their streaming service portfolio even more. Also, Disney now has Disney Plus, which has been a success for the company from the very beginning. Disney has always been a huge and very emblematic company, and now with their streaming service is even better. Also, Disney announced that they were restructuring their business since all their other segments such as the theme parks, hotels, and cruises have gotten affected by the pandemic and are still getting hit by it. They have decided to invest way more money into their streaming service to expand even more, and that has brought this year a lot of competitors for Netflix. I am interested to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below if you pay any of these 3 stream services, what you think about them, and which one do you like the most. Also would like to know if you think that Netflix should worry about their competitor. Now, I do have to say that I love Netflix as a company. It disrupted the TV and movie industry and has been improving year over year. It has a solid portfolio of content and has been growing massively since they have been partnering with several companies such as AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and more to attract more customers, which is excellent because, for example, I have T-Mobile and they offer to pay you the basic Netflix plan. I have that options, and since I have the family plan for Netflix, I only pay the difference, which is like $4 monthly. And not only that, they have had a rapid international expansion, which has paid off very nice for the company since the majority of their paid subscribers are not domestic but international. Obviously, there are some risks involved, such as their subscriber growth has slowed down and it is expected to decline after the pandemic ends. Also, Netflix now has more competition than before, and even though their international business has paid off a lot, their costs have also escalated because of the expenses in technology and marketing. Still, I do think Netflix is one of those stocks I should always have in my portfolio. I bought it back then when I started investing and sold it for a profit, but have been waiting to invest again, and I'm currently looking to open a position at this price. I like everything below $470. I might open a position at current prices and then average down if we get a better price. I do have to say that I'm a Disney and Apple shareholder, so I would be very well diversified. Even though streaming is not Apple and Disney's core business, they are Netflix competition. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor and all these calculations are expectations. But let me know in the comment section below what you think about Netflix. Have you invested in it or will you invest in the company? Hope you enjoyed the video. Please smash that like button and subscribe since it really helps my channel out. Also remember that I have a completely free Discord group chat, which the link for that is down in the description below. Thank you and see you next time.